I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Dr. Ahriana Platten speaks on daily enchantments. Two passions led Dr. Platten to work in parallel career fields for more than 30 years, spirituality and entrepreneurship. Her unique system for blending these interests has allowed her to teach and travel across North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. As the founder of soulfulworld.com, she's a courage builder who helps people master the art of living an authentic, purpose-filled life and a respected mentor for entrepreneurs and spiritual leaders alike. You can find out more about her on her website, soulfulworld.com, and that link is also in the text of this video. Thank you so much for being with us, and you are on.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I am so grateful to spend this time with all of you. I want to first speak for a moment about this medium that we're communicating in, whether you are here live or you're watching this recorded. We have kind of a way of separating ourselves out from this medium. This is a screen we can look at and kind of be separate from. And I want to invite you to think about it a little differently. I want to invite you to consider that quantum science is teaching us quite a bit about how we connect energetically, about the energetics of our world. And this arena that we're in is completely energetic. And so I want to give you just a moment to consider that we have invited each other, especially for those of you who are live, into each other's homes, that you are actually looking into my home right now. This is me. This is where I live. This is where I care for my family. It's where I have my tears, and it's where I have my greatest laughter. It's where I make my dreams. And each of you is inviting the energy of me into your home in the same way. This is more than just a miracle. It's part of our evolution, that we are moving into even deeper and greater energetic connection. And I offer you that because our intention in our gathering and in all of the work that we do in these kinds of fields changes everything. So I offer you that today in this space, that we are connecting in as deep a way and a differently deep way than we could if we were in the same room. And as we begin this time together, I simply open my heart to you, inviting that connection, being grateful for that connection, and allowing myself to be in the miracle of the fact that you are all across the country, that we have the capacity to reach out with our hearts, our minds, and our energetic essence around the world, which is pretty powerful, pretty amazing thing. I want to start with a poem. This is from a calendar called Wee Moon, which I have been getting for years and years and years. And if you are not, have never heard it before, I invite you to pick it up. There's all kinds of great stuff in this calendar. But this is a poem written by Shayla Paradise, and it's called Host. Invite it all in. Invite the discomfort, the messy, the icky. Invite the exposed, the embarrassing, the not so graceful. Invite the miscalculation, the unrealistic, and the sass. Invite the dramatic, the poor form, and don't forget the hypercritical. You might as well laugh. You might as well do more than laugh. Enjoy it. I'd say invite the ego, but it already invited itself. So rather, treat it nicely. Give it a seat at the party, like anyone else. Invite fear. Be kind to it. It never meant to hurt anything. It just loves you a great deal, more than it can stand sometimes. Invite the ache. In fact, give the ache the comfiest chair. Keep its drink full and hang on its words. This is your guest of honor. We owe this whole party to the ache. That's where we strive from. It's the emptiness we fill, where art is put on canvas, where songs are born, where we are raw. Invite the blood. It's full of life, edgy, inarguably real. Be a good host. Invite it all. Maybe courage will show up. I hear it loves a good party. Maybe wisdom will recognize the opportunity. Maybe peace will be drawn to the gathering. Maybe. Outside, the owl is watching, content, full of love. Invite it all. I love the line about the owl, because the owl means different things in different cultures. And in some cultures, it means death. And in some cultures, it means the wisest of all. And in any culture, it's a symbol of change. And really, when we think about inviting in the fullness of life, in all of its beauty and all of its wonder, and also all of its messiness and all of its discomfort, we invite in the greatest wisdom, don't we? We invite in a death of something and an opening to something else. And that is my invitation to you today, that in this time together, you have an opportunity to think about a death of something and an opening to something else. So I invite you to consider what it means to be an enchantress. It's an interesting word, one we see in fairy tales, and not one that we necessarily grasp for ourselves. But it's a powerful, beautiful word, a word that's different than sorceress. So for me, the difference between those two is that an enchantress has a way. She is Glinda the Good Witch, isn't she? She has a way of being present in the moment that is nurturing and caring, and also honors whatever is happening in the moment. The sorceress, on the other hand, is the keeper of the bad apple. She's a trickster. She's there to glamour herself in something that isn't real, so that she looks beautiful, and what she presents is shiny and nourishing, but it isn't really going to make you better. It's going to take away from who you can be and where you can go. So I invite you to consider for yourself what it means for you to be the enchantress, to be open, to be authentic, to see all of the things in life that are ugly and uncomfortable, and still find a way in your presencing with all of that to hold the magic of your soul. And that can be difficult. It can be difficult in the world that we share. We run into, a lot of times in circles like this, a little bit of toxic positivity. We're going to be positive no matter what happens, because we need to. And we save the privacy of our deepest fears, our deepest hurts, our deepest concerns about life, about our future, about our past. We save those things and hold them behind closed doors because they feel out of line with the front that we want to put into the world. But today's world requires so much more from us. For us to take the power of who we are, to take the gifts that we bring, to make a difference in the world, we are required to bring forth our authentic selves, to hold the vulnerability of life that is true right now, to recognize it, to speak to it, to honor it, to see it for what it really is, which is the owl in the tree. What it really is the opportunity for depth, the opportunity for us to grow wiser, the opportunity for us to change within ourselves what will ultimately change the world. And it can feel very helpless and hopeless at times. I watched the headlines. I'm not a big news follower, but I watched the headlines. And in the last week, there was a shooting in a church, a shooting at a parade, and a shooting at a university in my hometown. What is unique for me about this week is that I have relationship with someone who is directly involved in all three of those situations. So when I say to you that we are faced with a world that is challenging, I am not unique. There are big, major things happening in life. People going to war, people struggling in war. We're a global society. We are seeing our deep, deep interconnection, and we're beginning to feel it. We're beginning to realize that we can't escape any of those things. But if we allow ourselves to drop into hopelessness about it, we lose the magic. We lose a very important part of who we are. And we find that magic in the simplest moments of the day. So I just want to give you some ways to remain enchanted with life so that you can bring enchantment into conversation, so that you can point out and share with the people around you who are struggling in the same way we all are. The world is challenging. So that you have tools for how to bring people back to their sweet space, to the interconnected space that we're sharing with one another today, to this energetic heart connection. I want to invite you to get up in the morning and start your day with gratitude rather than waiting till the end of the day to figure out what you're grateful for, but to actually start in a place of gratitude. What is it in your life that you know you can take into this day, no matter whatever else happens? That morning gratitude can happen while you're brushing your teeth, while you're standing in the shower, while you're fixing your coffee. One of the reminders for me is to pick up the coffee cup, to actually not just hold it by the handle, but to pick up the coffee cup and feel the warmth of the coffee. It's one of my first gratitudes in the morning, that the coffee is warm. And when I drink it, it feels warm moving through my body. It soothes me and brings me comfort. And I can be grateful for that. I am a coffee queen. I can be grateful for that every day, right? What soothes you? What can you be grateful for? Maybe it's the warmth of the shower. Whatever it is, start your day with gratitude. It will change everything about how you feel. I want to invite you into a practice called Visio Divina. It's a Latin term, Visio Divina. Some of you might be familiar with Lectio Divina, which is to read and look for the intention of God in what you're reading. Visio Divina is the same but different. It's the opportunity to actively see, to look at life as though what your eyes can capture is a direct message from the divine to you. Where are your eyes drawn in your day? What catches your attention? What if that is not accidental? What if that is the entire universe pulling you to something? What if there is a divine message? It doesn't really matter how you construe spirituality, or whether you would claim yourself even as spiritual. It matters that there is a holiness to life, and that life itself will call you to see that. Will call you to notice the gnarls in the roots of a tree, or the colors of the flowers in a garden, or a picture in your home that maybe has some little nuance that you haven't noticed before. But if you awaken your eyes and allow them to be an aspect more than just habit, but an observing piece of life, life will respond to you. It's a two-way thing. So when your intention is to communicate with that universal energy that we're all one with, when your intention is to communicate with it, to be present to it, you can listen with your eyes, which is completely different than listening with your ears. You can listen with your eyes and allow yourself to be enchanted by what you see. And it's a simple exercise of paying attention. There's a cost though, right? We have to pay attention. It's the cost. We can do the same exercise with our ears if we choose. Sometimes the sound of a bird flying overhead where I can actually feel the wind or hear the sound of the flapping wings will distract me from whatever I'm doing. Because it's just an amazing thing to hear, isn't it? It's an amazing thing to know that that creature is close enough that I can hear that movement. The whisper of leaves in the trees. When we slow down, the crunch of our feet on the snow, when it sounds like styrofoam. The sparkle that we see. These things change our experience. And it requires two things from us to do that. It requires paying attention. That's the cost. And it requires us to slow down and notice. But isn't that what the enchantress does? The enchantress points it out. Look at the sparkle. Look at what glitters. Look at what calls you. And find in that the magic of your life. You can use all of your senses that way. Sometimes one of the most captivating things in the world to me is to put on a particular coat that has a really soft inside and to just give myself the presence of that touch, to actually feel it. But we're so busy. You don't see an enchantress moving quickly through life. You will see the sorceress moving fast to catch up with whatever evil doing she's up to. But the enchantress is graceful. She moves with observation. She takes in the full of what she sees and she responds to it. She sees the beauty and she sees the pain. And she allows the beauty to be the balm for the pain. And in today's world where so many people need us, where so much ugly is put in front of us, our ability to bring the beauty of life back to the forefront is healing. It happens when you stop and say hello to the cashier, if you can find one at a grocery store anymore. When you stop and say hello and actually see their face. Look at the name tag and say, "Hi, Mary. I hope you're having a good day." It happens when we take those very small moments, when we notice driving down the street, the crossing guard who is moving someone across the crosswalk in front of us, and recognize the beauty and the innocence of the child and the trust and the care that they place in that relationship. There is so much beauty around us, so much, that we could be enchanted with almost every moment of life. And yet it means nothing if we fail to see and invite in what is not enchanting. What makes the enchantment work is our willingness to see the rest of it, to recognize that these things are connected, to recognize that wisdom comes from these things, and to pull ourselves into the fullness of life. Getting into your body, using your senses, kind of getting out of the bowling ball that we carry around on our shoulder, right? Right? This head can be so heavy and full of thoughts. and allowing ourselves to come back into the body and feel the gift of life. Feel the breath that you breathe. It's the thing you will never be without. If you can find nothing else to be enchanted with, allow yourself to notice what it feels like to take a deep breath. You can do it right now, a breath so deep that you can feel your rib cage expand. And then allow the breath to diminish and exhale. And breathe in again, feeling that movement in your full body. And release it. We are inspired and we exhale that inspiration out into the world, don't we? I love that word, that we are inspired by our very breath, and you will not be without it a day of your life. So if you need to get back in your body because what you're seeing is shocking around you, breathe. Allow your lungs to expand and come back into your body. And know that you have the strength to be the enchantress in the world. You have the strength to bring beauty. It's in your voice. It's in the gentleness of the look in your eyes as you meet the eyes of other people. It's in our interconnection in all of the different ways that we're able to interconnect. And while the world is going through trauma and drama, we are able to connect to the whole world in a way we've never been able to do. How amazing is that? Not by accident. William Blake said, to see the world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower. That is the enchantment of life. And we need the daily enchantment in order to move through this life right now as it is. So I invite you to think about rituals and routines that you can put in place. Simple ones, like I shared with you about the warmth of your coffee, or maybe you have a singing bowl or a chime in your home. And maybe when you walk to your desk in the morning, before you get caught up in the email and everything else, maybe you'll just hit that singing bowl for a minute and allow yourself in that moment to hear the sound. Allow the frequency of that to set your energetic place for the day. My husband gets in his car every morning and he puts his hand on the dashboard and he says his car is named Midnight. And he says, good morning, Midnight. Let's have a safe and fruitful day. Every single time he gets in the car. How would that change? I think about it myself. How would it change it if I remembered to do that? That every time I got in my car, I addressed that I just want to have a safe, beautiful day. You can decide whether your car can respond to that or not. It's up to you what you believe. But the intention of safety, the intention of beauty, really sets a powerful tone. If you look for the magic in life, the magic will begin to show itself to you. If you allow yourself to be blind to it, you can walk through life and never see it. It's totally about opening up and allowing yourself. Extraordinary things don't often shout. They mostly speak in whispers. Marcel Proust said, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And that is where I would like to leave you today. I'd like to leave you with an invitation to move through life with new eyes, to move through life looking through the lenses of the enchantress, to find the beauty that the world needs to heal its soul. Thank you for giving me some of your time.
Ahriana, I feel like I've been encapsulated in a warm blanket with, that was just one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. And typically after, when a speaker finishes, I will ask those in the Zoom room with us to unmute and applaud. But I'm feeling right now that applause would disrupt something. And so I would just ask everyone to honor Ahriana with your, however you can, visually, and let her see. And be sure you go to that next page, Ahriana, and see everybody. And just thank you so much. And remember, if you're watching this either live or on the replay or on our YouTube channel, you can find out more about her on her website, which is a purposeful, excuse me, I'm sorry, a soulfulworld.com. And that link is also in the text of this video. And also there's information there where you can connect with the On Purpose Woman global community. Thank you for watching, everyone.